Welcome to the Wednesday Warrior Wrap-Up, where we take a look at some of the awesome news and reveals of this week. First up on the Wednesday Warrior Wrap-Up, we take a look at the Transformers fan vote, and a lot has happened since we last covered this. First up, we knew it was Mirage versus Grimlock. Grimlock won by a landslide. Poor Mirage got left in the dust by the Dinobot. Then it moved on to Decepticons, and we thought maybe Starscream would beat, Shockwave, but it turned out Shockwave beat Starscream by a landslide. And Shockwave won. It was down to Grimlock and Shockwave, and a lot of people figured, Grimlock's got to win. He's one of the most popular Dinobots. He's one of the originals, that people think about. Shockwave's up there too, but what are the odds? And Shockwave won by a landslide. And I will say, I kind of saw it coming when Shockwave was fighting Starscream, because when Grimlock was fighting Mirage, it wasn't that much of a difference. It was like a difference of like 10 or 15%, I think, by the time it was done that I saw. Shockwave was beating Starscream from like 50-something% to 30%, so I went, if this is happening right now this way, when Shockwave goes against Grimlock, there's a chance Shockwave's going to wipe the floor with Grimlock, and it's going to be surprising to a lot of people, and that's what happened. And then, Shockwave won, and now we're at the next step, which is choosing what the alt mode would be. That being land, air, sea, and wild card. And in the beginning, wild card was going like crazy. We really thought it was going to win. And now it looks like sea might be winning. They did say that if sea wins, it's going to be a speedboat, a hoverboat, or hovercraft, a submarine, I think, and a creature. And a lot of people are trying to go for sea creature because they think it's going to be a Spinosaurus. But I think they're going to go more like Squid Wave or Shark Wave, something along those lines, but it'll be cool to see. Regardless of who wins, I know that land was speed car, train, creature. All of them had creature pretty much, but land was speed car, train, and truck. And then air was, I believe, helicopter, jet / plane, and I can't remember what it was, but at this point, air and land are not going to win. It's between sea and wild card. Wild card is weapon, device, creature, and starship, I think. And most of those in the wild card category were already things Shockwave has been. He's been a starship, he's been a gun, because that was a weapon, and he's been a device in the past, I think. So now we're at the point where we're voting for what we're going to get, and then after that, depending on what we get, they're going to go down to the final 4 categories, which if sea wins, it's going to be hovercraft, speedboat, I believe it's a submarine, I could be wrong, and then creature, and I have a feeling people are going to push towards creature, so we'll have to see though. I'm very excited for this. And then, like I said in the last video, on the 17th of September, Transformers Day, which was the first day that Transformers aired, they are going to pick the winner. Something I didn't say last time is that this is only through Instagram in the US and most of North America and Europe, so you have to have an Instagram account to vote, in case anyone was curious, like, how do I vote? It's through Instagram. And then in China, it's through something I think called Redfin or Red something. It's an app that's like Instagram in China. So we will see here in Europe and the US a large influx of numbers coming out of China through that app. So even though we think C might win, if they all get on and vote land out of nowhere, then land could end up winning if they outvote the fans in the rest of the world, because they do have a larger population, and there's a lot more people there that love Transformers, because I think they have like a Transformers huge theme park area at their Universal in China. I think it's Shanghai or something like that. I'm pulling a blank on it, but yeah, really fun stuff. And some awesome Marvel pre-orders went up over the week. First up, we had the pre-order for the X-Men 97 Basketball Rogue and Gambit, which is kind of interesting. They used the starting lineup body for Gambit, I think, and a lot of people were disappointed about that. I, for one, skipped this because this is just going to probably be something that they're going to build out to build the basketball versions of all the characters, and I don't really want that subgroup, even though that is a cool thing. But unless they were going to announce an X-Mansion HasLab where there's a basketball court attached to it, I don't really feel like this is something you need in your collection unless you're a big basketball fan, which I'm a slight basketball fan, but not a huge basketball fan. And then next up, we got a Iron Man and Mandarin 2-pack. This is supposed to be, the Mandarin from like the comics, and the modern media where they have him, whether he's got his like white hair and long, spindly fingers, to his dark, clean look of hair with, the rings and stuff like that. I know a lot of people wanted the 90s cartoon Mandarin that looks more alien. I'm sure we'll get that sooner or later. That Iron Man wave is out there. I think this was more for, you know, the comic fans of the modern comics, kind of like that Crossbones and Masquerade 2-pack was kind of more of a modern comic fans, you know, get people who are into the comics now, and then they'll go back and visit those other versions. But that one up for pre-order is an Amazon exclusive. And then third and finally today, on Hasbro Pulse exclusively, the X-Men 97 2-pack with brown suit Wolverine and Storm in her black and gold outfit, or black and yellow outfit. Kind of looks like a swimsuit. I don't know the actual terminology for the outfit, but it just looks really cool in this brown suit. Wolverine looks a little bit different than the Secret Wars one, and some people were excited that they waited out for this one. This one went up for pre-order on Hasbro exclusively. As of now, I'm pretty sure all three of these are still in stock. I think the Rogue and Gambit one was also a Pulse exclusive, and I think the third one, which is going to be Cyclops and Marvel Girl Jean Grey, will be later on, and it will probably be a Pulse exclusive too. I'm very excited for that one, for the Cyclops' outfit of the, you know, the blue onesie classic look. But yeah, all three of them are available. They're all going to run you about $49.99 if you want them. Link is in the description down below if you'd like. And by now, I'm sure a lot of people have covered it. I know we covered that it got funded, but the HasLab G.I. Joe Snow Kite got funded, and we talked about how it got funded last week. But I think it was a day or two before the campaign ended, and we didn't know if we were going to get all three tiers. All three tiers unlocked, no problem. The G.I. Joe fans came through like they always do. I don't know why people wait till the last minute, because they don't take the money till, you know, later on, a little bit after the campaign. So they could have all just put their orders in beforehand. It wasn't like, will I or will I not have the funds for it, because you either have the funds for it or you don't. There are a couple people, though, because of when it was, they might have been waiting for their checks, so I will give that, you know, that kind of situation like that. But it's one of those things where if you want this HasLab, but you don't know if you're going to get things or not, just, you know, back it. You can always cancel it. I feel like if everyone put in that they were going to get it, they don't take the money till the end. So if you don't know if you're going to have the money, you could always cancel last minute. Hasbro said they have no problem with that, but it's just nice to know how many people actually want it and see how fast it can get to its final goals. And if everyone who bought it, which I think at the end it had like 16,000 plus people that backed it, which was about 1,000 more they needed to get all the tiers and everything like that. If everyone just did it in the beginning, you know, day one, we would know we were getting everything. And then, you know, other people, I feel like there are some people that are hoping if they wait, their numbers won't grow as fast, because I feel like if the campaign really blew up in the beginning, they would then know that more people would jump on, and then the value would drop for reselling, which, you know, there is always that part of the collecting game that there are people who want to make a profit off of flipping these things. I, for one, missed out on the Rattler, so, you know, it's one of those things where I'm going to have to buy one secondhand if I want it, because I just didn't have the funds at that time, and I was buying so many other Marvel and Star Wars and even just mainline G.I. Joe stuff that I was like, I can wait, because if I can't get it, I'm not going to be heartbroken. But it's one of those things where I'm rambling now, I'm sorry, but it did get funded. All three tiers got unlocked. I just feel like we could have done it sooner, because when that His Tank came out and we got the early access item unlocked within like a day or two, we got it done way fast, and then, you know, everything unlocked after that. It did get a little bit slower, I think, towards the end, but I think maybe they might want to bring back that, where there's an, you know, kind of like they tried to do with the Snake Layer recently with the Snake Lady from Masters Universe, where there's that early bird kind of special thing like they did with the His Tank. I think if they brought that back, you would get those people who really, really want it to back it, but then you also get those couple other people, and we would get it fully funded really fast. And then, you know, I feel like if we get things funded faster, we would get more extra tiers thrown in, compared to them going, oh no, this is all we got, even though you backed it all at the last week. Because I vaguely remember some campaign kind of doing that, where they're like, you know, you guys backed it so fast, we're going to throw in this extra, you know, nothing big, but it was something extra, and that was cool. I don't remember which one it was, if it was a Marvel, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Star Wars. I just vaguely remember that. I'm sure if I go back to one of my older videos, I covered it, and I can find out what it is. But yeah, but I feel like if we back this things fast, they would, you know, be able to, like, know an exact number, and we would know that more people would be comfortable getting it. But like I said, I digress. I'm done rambling on it. It got fully funded. All three tiers got unlocked, and there's talk of other Arctic things coming out and more stuff to add on to it, which is probably always going to come out no matter what, because they planned this stuff 2 years in advance. But it's fun to know that we have something to build around. At Toy News, I think we covered these really fast, either last week or the week before, but I wanted to go into some more detail for them. The Mirage Comics Cyborg Donatello and Shredder Raphael, and I think it's either Noir or Noir, I don't know, Shadow something. He's really cool. I don't know who he is. I've never read the Mirage comics. I'm sorry. I'm more of a Turtles cartoon fan, and then the movies. And then the comics are kind of like third. I know it's crazy. It's like Pokemon cards versus Pokemon game versus, you know, Pokemon TV show. What was your kind of fandom? It's like that for me, and the cartoon for Turtles was really what I got into. So I don't know who this character is, and if he was in the series, I might have just, you know, forgot about it, but he looks really cool. He's all, you know, black, shadowy looking with a grappling hook and everything, that very Batman feel. All three of these went up for pre-order on NECA.com. I'm sure they might go into stores later on, maybe Target, maybe Walmart, but right now I think they're just at NECA. I don't think I saw them at Big Bad Toys or Entertainment Earth. But you can correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong, and share the links with people so that people can find them elsewhere. But I did put the links for NECA up. If you want to get these three, I always love it when we have other versions of the Turtles, even if it's evil versions. It's just really cool to see. I always love seeing people out there on the internet with their turtle collections with all the different variants of the different turtles, and I think this is really cool. And in McFarlane toy news, we have a look at quite a few McFarlane items. Okay, maybe not quite a few, just a couple, but a lot of statues. They're doing more statues of some X-Men characters. First up is a Wolverine that looks really cool, and then we got a Colossus, which I'm very excited for. That one looks really awesome, but I feel like if I got it, I'd probably put chrome pin on it to make it shine more, because I feel like it needs to be a little bit more shiny. And then a Deadpool, and here's the part, I don't feel like Deadpool's the reason I buy this. It's got Jeff the Shark. Jeff the Land Shark is on this Deadpool statue. I think Jeff the Land Shark needs his own statue, because he's totally worth it, and he's a fun character, and you know, you could always get that signed by the voice actor who's been doing a lot of events recently if they made that one. And then we got one DC item that stuck out to me because I think we've kind of slowed down, or there's more coming out. It's not slowed down, but you know, this week there wasn't too much. But it is that of the Batman the Animated Series, Harley Quinn and Joker 2-pack. This is of course that, I think it's like the DC Ultimates Batman Animated Series stuff, or maybe I'm saying that wrong. I don't know the actual name for it, but it's separate from the DC Multiverse stuff, so they're a little bit, you know, more cartoony looking. But yeah, some really cool McFarlane offerings. I'm sure there'll be more next week. I know there's a lot of cool stuff out on the store shelves right now, from Kite Man to Deathstroke to Mirror Man to all those other ones we've covered are starting to hit store shelves. Walmart's, Target's, Best Buys, GameStops. So happy hunting when it comes to your McFarlane stuff. This is a really fun one. We talked about Loose Collectibles, or Loose Collectors Collectibles, Yeti and Bigfoot a while back. Well, now we're getting another one, which I'm going to try my best to pronunciate this. I saw it as two different ways. Skookum or Skookum. I feel bad. I feel like this is actually like a certain culture's version of Bigfoot, and I'm slaughtering the way they say it. For me, it reminds me of the, you know, skunk ape and the other darker colored furred Bigfoots. Like, you think of Bigfoot out in the woods, like the North Pacific Bigfoots, they got a more orange brown colored one, but then when you go to like Florida and Australia, they're more darker furred, whereas then you go to Nepal and it's the Yeti and it's white furred. So this is another option. They've done this with their other figures, like the werewolf or Wolfman figures they've done in the past. I'm just very excited for this one because it's, you know, it's kind of like the dark werewolf. A lot of the shows I watch where they talk about cryptids, they always predict the Bigfoots or the dogmen or werewolves and darker fur, and so I always see that in my head when I think of them. So for me, those are really cool. I unfortunately missed out on the darker werewolf, wolfman, dogman kind of thing. I'm saying dogman, but I'm pretty sure they're werewolves because they are doing a separate dogman, and they're doing a El Chupacabra, which I'm very excited about, but the South American version where he's got the spine and the pokey pieces and stuff like that, not the dog looking version. But yeah, just really cool. It is available on BBTS right now if you want to pick it up, and anywhere else that sells, you know, importer toys. This is a hulking big figure. It's bigger than the Marvel Sasquatch, bigger than, you know, their Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of figure they did. So it's really awesome. And in comics this week, we think look awesome and incredible. First up is IDW's Godzilla in Hell. This is a very fun premise, very fun story. It looks like it's what if Godzilla died and went to hell and he has to like traverse a hellscape as a kaiju, is what I'm assuming. It sounds really awesome. And then next up we have Marvel Comics Venom Black, White, and Blood #1. This is like some of the other comics they're doing recently, but I'm very excited. I don't know if this is a miniseries or a one-shot, but it just sounds really cool. And then in the same Venom of things, like vein of things, try to make a pun there, didn't really work. We have Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe #2, And lo and behold, it is a cover of Godzilla being venomized. We knew this was going to happen. I don't know if it's already happened before, and this is just it happening again. But Godzilla will be taken over by the Venom symbiote. So this is really exciting. So they kind of mash up Godzilla, Venom, Godzilla. They all look really cool this week. There's also some other things like G.I. Joe from Skybound that is coming out that's not shown here. There was a cool Justice League with Red Tornado having a secret Justice League team. And then just some other cool comics that you definitely need to go to your local comic book shop and check out because they are really cool. Like always, go to your local comic shop, pick up what's in your saver, see what's new. There's quite a few new things that are starting up this week to get into if you're a fan of DC or Marvel or IDW or Skybound or even Image Comics. There's all kinds of cool stuff coming out this week that are starting up that are new. Thank you so much. And now on to our next segment. And in our creative corner, we have a look at an amazing customizer on Instagram, that of ZFormer_customs or ZFormers_customs. You can see it here on the screen. Link is in the description down below to follow them, but they have some amazing customs from a really cool Mortal Kombat Scorpion Sub-Zero using G.I. Joe figures to make a very G.I. Joe X Mortal Kombat look, to a really awesome Street Fighter figure of Chun-Li, and some really cool stuff like this Goblin Queen that looks amazing, that looks like the HasLab one. They did it themselves. They said, if we can't have it, I'm gonna make it myself. There's this really beautiful looking, it's beautiful and awesome looking Snake Eyes with like the blue jumpsuit that looks like it might be on like a Marvel Legends or something else. Looks incredible. There's some other variations of Snake Eyes on their page that they do customs of. It looks like they do commissions and do sell their figures, so definitely hit them up if you want something that you see on their page, or you want something else they might be able to cook up. There's just all kinds of awesome stuff here. Lots of video game themed characters, Marvel themed characters, G.I. Joe. I like their version of the Iron Grenadiers. They look incredible. But yeah, if you're an action figure lover like me, a customizer who likes to customize stuff, and you're looking for some inspiration, definitely go give them a follow, give them the likes, share it with your friends who are into that kind of thing like we always say here. But overall, just have a fun time looking at some awesome action figures and go support an amazing artist and creative person. And that about wraps it up. Thanks for stopping by. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section. If you're feeling generous, share it. And thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye.